Issue 187. We start out with Rouge saying to Jeffrey, who they remembered existed finally, that they're the best looking couple there at the party and they're just having a good time. Jeffrey at least tells her not to let his wife hear her say that. And then Scratch the Robot shows up in a tuxedo saying he answers to the club's owner. Mammoth Mogul asks why Jeffrey and Mogul and Rouge are there, knowing they're famous spies, and they act harmless, with Rouge complimenting him on how he turned one of Robotnik's old holdings into an international success overnight, because people are willing to go to this place when it's run by Mogul, apparently. Mogul says that the poor Badniks were abandoned by their creator somehow, and he gave them a new purpose for the bar and grill. Mogul then says that unfortunately Casino Night Zone was lacking in a serviceable kitchen, or rather the Casino Night Zone, because it's special. Why couldn't either Mogul have created the kitchen with his magical powers, or just made it be built with money or something? Coconuts then tells Mogul that his investors' meeting is ready, as I wonder why anyone's willing to do business with someone like him instead of shunning him. And then we promptly see him meeting with Bean, so no wonder he's insane. Grounder compliments Coconuts on working directly for the boss, and Coconuts for some reason thinks he's being patronized by someone who clearly looks like he's making a well-meaning compliment. He explains that he was left crushed on the ocean floor, his dream of rebuilding the Badnik horde crushed. Somehow he clawed all the way back to the coast and made it here. He wanted to unite the last Badniks and rise to power with Robotnik's weakest robots, and then acts surprised that he's just a butler now. He's way too arrogant for a tiny little monkey robot. Sleuth tells Mogul that he's not sure the Destructics are for hire for him because he would have let Eggman destroy them, and now word is he's going soft. Naturally, since he's running a casino instead of doing evil things, although technically a casino is evil because it's cheating people out of their money. And as Sleuth points out, he let Sonic's friends go free for no reason. Mogul calls all of that a cautious investment, as if that makes sense, and says that it's obvious Bean, Bark, and Sleuth are in it for the money, and so he wants to endorse their mutual vendetta against Sonic. What did Sonic do to Sleuth, though? Nothing, really. Mogul says that he'd paid them handsomely for the shoes of Sonic, and it's up to them if his feet are still in them. He just said last issue that he knew he couldn't beat Sonic. Merlin casts a spell and says that the curses laid upon the people that were once brainwashed by Mogul are no more. Merlin then says that the Hex Benitevit's place in the Master Emerald was a powerful one, so he had to make sure there were no ill effects on Sonic so that there would be no interesting plot where Sonic was brainwashed by Benitevit ever. And Sonic shouldn't have been able to turn super with it, actually pointing out that plot hole without bothering to fill it, and that's why Merlin helped Sonic here. And of course, even though Sonic asked how he turned super when the Emerald's hex was locked, Merlin just says that it's a mystery. Translation: Sonic's the creator's pet. He asks Merlin if he'll be okay on his own, and Merlin says he has friends in high places. Tails naturally asks him unhappily why he can't do his meditations here since he wants him to stay, and has since he came back. Then he says Nicole could build him whatever he needs, but Merlin explains that if he wants to come closer to the Chaos Force, he has to do so by his own means. And the two have a heartwarming hug to show how much Merlin loves him, and his parents too. Sonic asks Tails if he's going to be okay, calling him little bro and looking worried, which is sweet, especially how after Tails stutters and says he needs to work on something, wanting to get his mind off it, Sonic asks him to give him a shout if he needs him. He then says Sally wanted to see him. Sally says that she doesn't feel right being in the Great Forest out of nostalgia without the other freedom fighters, and they start reminiscing about their excuses for a childhood. Sally says the freedom fighters all went through a lot of changes, and Sally wishes that she could have made that transition easier, showing self-awareness. Sonic says that they've all been through some heavy stuff, and Sally awkwardly says, "Not even for my outburst during your homecoming celebration?" Meaning the slap. Sonic sarcastically says that all she did was break his heart. Then the two have a close friendship moment for some reason, and a bomb lands in between them immediately as Sonic says, "I swear the timing of these things," with only Sally reacting appropriately to the situation. Sonic snarks out irritated about how it didn't take long for Bean, Bark, and Mammoth Mogul to get back to being evil, and then spin dashes at Bark, lampshading how he never bothers to talk, which doesn't slice through him for some reason. Sally, getting the idea from when Fiona distracted Bean with shiny keys, has the clever idea to distract Bean with a shiny bomb instead, and convinces him to play fetch with it, Then the bomb explodes in Bean's face, which doesn't horribly murder him for some reason, and Sonic gets punched over a cliff by Bark, complaining self-awarely that he should have paid more attention. Sonic gets approached by the Destructix, much to his annoyance. Obviously, he creates a tornado by running in a circle, but somehow the bird guy manages to attack him during all that, and Sonic gets attacked some more with Lightning Lynx whining, "We've suffered enough indignity at your hands." Oh, boo-hoo, criminals. After Drago complains like he thinks he's the victim, especially me, Sonic says, "You know what, Drago? Get used to it," and tricks Sergeant Simeon into punching him. Sally admits to Bean and Bark that she's out of her league and can't afford to leave Sonic alone to get help because she has no faith in him to win the fight. So she actually makes a proposition for them. She wants to hire them to help Sonic. She says that she can use her pull as princess to diminish their sentences and charges, and that whatever they're being paid, she'll beat it. She is rich after all. Ooh, I like this. Does it count as being manipulating if it turns out to be that she's not lying? Either way, I love whenever she has clever plans like this. That's where Sally really shines. Of course, her plan works because all these guys care about is easy money, and Sally then is told that Sleuth has one ace up his sleeve. Then Fang is shown aiming a rifle through the bushes. This made me think that he was gonna shoot Sally. At first, he aims for Sonic, but then after he tells Sally that he is just stunned and it's more interesting that way, a truck of criminals drives back to Casino Night Zone. Fang says that just zapping Sally right away is boring, and taunts Sally that she can't make it to Freedom HQ and rally the troops in 10 seconds. She then runs away, and the story ends as he's counting down, because even though he just said that simply shooting her would be boring, apparently doing a countdown is good enough of a solution for him. This issue was by Ian Flynn, and was about Mammoth Mogul, who is running Casino Night Zone, which is full of badniks that stopped trying to fight Sonic for some weird reason, sending the Destructix after Sonic, who for some reason is still attacked just fine, even while doing the tornado attack. But Sally helps out Sonic by cleverly applying her knowledge of being living shiny things, thanks to Fiona, towards distracting him with a shiny bomb, which explodes on him. And after that somehow doesn't kill him or even injure him, Sally saves the day for real by saying she'll double what Bean and Bark are being paid. And Sonic is, I guess, stunned by Fang's rifle? Maybe it has a tranquilizer in it, like a tranquilizer gun, I don't know. The criminals drive off in a truck, I'm not really sure why, and the story ends with Sally being threatened at gunpoint by Fang. So Sonic having trouble when he can use a tornado attack was a little forced, outnumbered or not, but I loved that Sally got to be useful with her clever manipulating side. I just wish the ending wasn't so confusing.